I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
I was going to say that's Booby, but Booby's not there because we've reoriented our set, our studio, to account for the Oscar-worthy performance of this one in our mini-series called The
Quarantine Chronicles.
Quarantine Chronicles. First episode is out there. All you have to do is go into our little thingy and set up. You know, I'll try to put the link here in the like around here. Quarantine Chronicles. Just remind me. Beautiful movie. So episode 1 is free, and then to get a ticket for the rest of the episodes is $5. VinandSoriMerch@gmail.com at PayPal, or jump to the $5 tier on Patreon. If you're currently on the $5 tier of Patreon or above, you don't have to do a dang thing. We will get you that link at that thingamajig once we get that up.
I'll post it right on Patreon.
If you're at the $1 tier, just jump on for this month, and then next month go back to $1 or whatever. Also, speaking of Patreon, please consider, because of our current situation, especially if you got a stimulus check, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good financially. And I hate giving financial advice. All I'm saying is, if you're on Patreon and you're struggling, you should consider pulling back for a little bit. If you're in Alliance or anything like that, you don't want to get kicked out or whatever, send us an email. We'll try to work something out until stuff gets back.
Have no fear.
Have no fear. So just think about that. For timely, topical, political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. I think I'm going to have to shoot a video about these.
Perfect little entrance.
About these pastors. I gotta shoot a video about these pastors, man.
You do. You really do.
It's starting to... This is the Anarchy 99 Alliance. Yep. This is a Patreon Alliance. It's $1 at the gate.
I said, have no fear.
The name of... Oh, that's why... Okay, the name of this band is Terrorizer, and then the
band is Fear of Napalm?
No, I think Fear of Napalm is the name of the song. Terrorizer is the name of the band. World Downfall is the name of the record. Let's go.
Scroll. Why does it say cover by Fear of Napalm? Because Fear of Napalm is the band, right?
Fear of Napalm is the band Vader, and they covered Fear of Napalm.
Okay, so scroll up.
Honey,
so
it's right there. Fear of Napalm, song number 3.
Oh, okay. No, that's what I've been saying the entire time. You weren't listening to me.
Yeah, sure. Now everybody has witnessed your lying self. Let's go.
Ready? Go.
Try to correct me. How dare you? I haven't heard a riff like that in a long time! Wow. We're gonna fight fire with fire. You lost. No!
Yes.
No vanilla!
Yes, vanilla.
Look, man, I haven't heard just raw, heavy, fast, thrash, chunky stuff in 2 or 3 videos, so I was very, very happy. I was very, very happy to hear it.
Good for you. Look, there's Jesus in this thing.
Yeah. From the sky. So, the song is called Fear of Napalm, which is one of the most horrific weapons that the inherently good-natured human being has come up with to massacre other inherently good people. Sometimes I think to myself, like, yo, somebody sat down and said, you know what?
I know.
Like, when I think about some of these, like, methods of abortion or methods of... I always say to myself, like, yo, somebody thought that through.
I know.
You know, like that sick bastard over there in, what do you call it? Dr. Hearn. The guy that kills 9-month-old babies over there in Colorado. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can massacre 9-month-old babies in Colorado. Dr. Hearn will tell you. But he was talking about how he came up with new methodologies because most states have gestational limits, Colorado being one that doesn't. And so he was talking about how he had to come up with special ways of, killing these fully developed babies. He's bragging about it on his website and all this. It's like... But, when you think about, like somebody had to sit down, this dude was like, how do I more efficiently kill babies now? And, like, somebody sat down and was like, okay, how can we set people on fire in a very effective way so we can burn them to death in mass?
Yeah.
Just burn, just set them on fire till they die. How can napalm? It's just like human beings are, we're amazing. Like right now, some crazy kid is going to come up with some, vaccine for this COVID stuff, and they're going to come up with some kid's got the cure of cancer, if he makes it safely out of the birth canal, inshallah, before Hearn gets to him. But, like, somebody's going to be able to, like, come up with, so, like, the human mind, like, when we put our mind to, let's solve this problem, like, there's no species on Earth that comes even close to us. But then on the other hand, it's like, nobody comes close to us and our capacity for evil and our imaginations of destruction.
There's that verse that talks about inventors of evil.
Inventors of evil, yeah. Like, and that's a crazy thing about being an image bearer of God and still carrying the germ of sin, is that like this is in the same being.
Yep.
The cure for cancer and disassembling a 9-month-old are in the same being, and it's just a mind-boggling thing to think about, And so I don't think this song is necessarily a celebration of that stuff, but I mean, it's called World Downfall, so I mean, it's infestation, injustice, ripped to shreds.
Oh, I know. And then at the last bit, what he says, the last thing he says, outbreak hate.
Yeah. I do think, especially with napalm, I think you have to. I was talking to this guy, and one of their mottos was "Embrace the hate." They were in Afghanistan. It was "Embrace the hate" because he was, his logic was for his team was that in order to do this type of killing,
you have to
hate the. And of course, you had 9/11 in the backdrop, and so that was not that difficult. But the Viet Cong had done nothing to us. They did nothing to us. There's all this propaganda about communism.
That doesn't stop people, though, because look at, you were just talking about the abortionist. What has the baby done to him?
Well, they're $10,000 a pop. He's got 10,000 reasons to be that type of an individual. But
it's so sick to me, I can't even.
But the and what
he eats his lunch and kills. I just can't even.
Which even the most strident. That's why, like, when I talk to people, a lot of times they're in denial, and it's because they have to believe that, because they can't believe that somebody would do that to a 9-month-old. They have to say things like, it's got to be a complete medical emergency, because they can't look the truth in the face. It's untrue. You don't have to be in a complete medical emergency to disassemble a 9-month-old in Colorado or New York. And I'm not even talking about 9 months. Like, a lot of them, like, when I talk about, like, a D&E, they'll say, oh, those are only special circumstances, and Mayo Clinic's like, no, it's actually the second most popular form of abortion in America. But so I think people have to. there's something that you have to do psychologically to yourself in order to co-sign a massive evil like that, or to commit an act like this, which is outbreak hate. You know, like, you have to gin up. Like, Michael Jordan used to come up with, like, he used to say that people were talking trash about him, and then he'd go in there and drop 50 on him by the second half, and people would be like, where's this video where the guy talked trash about you? And he was like, I just made that up to motivate myself. That's how he was. You know, and I think that, you know, in order to do this to somebody, set him on fire en masse, you got to gin up some sort of, like, contrived hatred of the other to justify it. You know what I mean? Like, dudes after 9/11 putting lead on people and all that, like, I understand. Obviously I understand, but doing this to Viet Cong, and people had nothing to do with it. Like, it had nothing to do with anything about us. They were no threat to us whatsoever, but it was all this propaganda about communism. And if we would have bought the propaganda, there would have been no necessity for the draft. But we didn't buy the propaganda. That's why you had to have a draft. And so now these guys are in this horrible situation, and you want to go home, and they're telling you that, hey, more of these guys we kill, the faster you get home. Okay, well then now you got to gin up some things psychologically to go and...
Yikes.
And now you have to outbreak hate. You got to hate these people. People screaming, burn to ash, fear of dying, guess who lost? You know, like... Everybody has a fear of death on the battlefield, but now I've got the superior weaponry, so you know, like, this is like the ultimate example of what's going to win technology, strategy, or topography. You know, and I think in this particular situation, it was a battle of wills. It was technology versus strategy. I mean, the Viet Cong were masters at guerrilla warfare, and you know, it instigated stuff like, you know, SEAL teams and Delta operatives, things like that, to counteract that type of methodology. So we learned from the situation in Vietnam, but man, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I think
and the effects of it went generationally, right? Because of the radiation.
Well, yeah, and when they said radiation, that's why I went to this thing, because I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Chernobyl wildfires are reigniting. So Chernobyl was this nuclear plant that, like, melted completely down. And, you know, it was this big, I think it was like late 80s or early 90s when Chernobyl, and then here you go. You've got these wildfires, and now it's wildfires are common in the so-called zone of alienation around the abandoned Chernobyl plant. A larger than typical fire is stirring up radiation, because when the plant melted down, there's still radiation there. So now all that smoke is carried. It's just crazy, man.
Wow,
where you've
what
got
a mess.
Human ingenuity, where we can come up with something as amazing as a nuclear plant, and now, like, that could be our undoing. Of course, I don't believe that we're going to go up in a cloud of dust. I'm a Christian, but our capacity.
Nuclear plant?
Yeah, Chernobyl. Yeah, it was a big thing, man. I forgot what year it was, but it was pretty terrible.
Why don't they just spread a bunch of salt over that area and call it done?
You can't. I mean, it's we're talking about nuclear radiation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it will kill a plant, though, right? Am I missing something? Is it like literally a plant, or
no,
is
like a nuclear power plant?
Power plant.
Yeah, like Chernobyl. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I don't know anything about this Chernobyl thing.
Yeah. It was pretty terrible.
Well, so I thought you said it melted to the ground.
Well, I mean, it was a big meltdown, and all the Chernobyl disaster with the nuclear accident occurred on April 26, 1986, at the number 4 nuclear reactor in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the city of Papyret, I think, in the Ukrainian SSR. Right, so it was a nuclear power plant, and it melted down, and people died, and cancer, like the cancer rates up there are ridiculous.
Yeah, but now that's reigniting the area?
Well, right, the zone of alienation, which is basically nobody goes around there because you breathe, I mean, the whole place is toxic. And now this abnormal wildfire starts, and then, you know, you can just, it's stirring up all the radiation and all that. So, yeah, not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. Radiation readings near the wildfires where the smoke is swirling about have been elevated, with the wind blowing toward rural areas of Russia and Belarus for most of the past week. Yeah.
Look, the wind shifted, it went somewhere else, and then it says, but authorities say the radiation level is still normal in the city, whose population is about 3 million.
Yeah, what are they going to say?
I know, exactly.
Yeah, so So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Like the stuff that human beings play around with, you know. And I do think there have been times when like we've discovered something or whatever, and somebody said, "Nope, tear up the files" or whatever. Like I'm pretty certain that has happened on a multitude of occasions.
I believe it.
It hasn't happened enough.
I believe it.
It hasn't happened enough, and so now we're in a situation where this is happening. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, human beings, man, here we are in all of our glory. But I love the song. I wish it was a little bit longer. It was like bang, 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 to the point, cow, 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 and then out, you know?
Yeah, it was one of those pushing me down a conveyor belt songs I was not a fan.
What do you mean by that when you say that? What are you talking about, Ross?
You know, like at the airport when there's like those things that you can walk on and it's already moving, so it makes you move really fast. It's like I like them because they move you, but at the same time I don't like it because I feel like it's a little bit out of control. And so the song did that to me. Like it makes me feel like everything's there's all this like there's just too much, and there wasn't. I don't know. Like I just didn't. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I loved it. What do you give it?
4.
It's a 9.8 for me. A 4. I don't even want to hear this. I don't want to hear an explanation from you. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. I don't even know if the channel is going to continue. We're done. We're done here.
Do you still want to play Fortnite with me?
No, because you keep losing. You don't listen to my instructions.
No, you
My
need to
laws and my
accept
decrees.
responsibility for
I
your
do.
poor planning.
I do.
No,
I
you
do.
always want
I
to
do.
blame everybody else.
I do.
The
accept.
children.
I do accept.